A very good morning. It's just past 8 this Monday morning and it's time again for the breakfast show. I'm Rukman. Over the next 1 hour, we take you through the major happenings from across India and the world. As the nation readies for the launch of Chandrayaan-2, we bring you a special segment with a guest in the studio to take us through various aspects of the mission. Then, of course, there's a Karnataka political crisis and whether the suspense over it will end today, the flood situation and also the newspaper headlines published from the national capital, New Delhi. But first, the top stories. Stage set for launch of India's moon mission Chandrayaan-2 today at 2:43 p.m. from Sriharikota. ISRO Chairman Dr. K. Shivan assures a glitch-free launch for the historic mission. Voting in Karnataka Assembly likely today on trust motion on Chief Minister H.D.K. Kumarasamy. SC to hear Congress plea on validity of whip. Congress JDS government faces existential crisis after resignation of 15 MLAs, withdrawal of support by 2 independents. National Medical Commission Bill to be introduced in Lok Sabha today. Bill seeks to replace 63-year-old Medical Council of India. Expected to usher in sweeping changes in medical education, including elimination of NEET for PG courses. Flood situation worsens in Kerala. Red alert in 4 districts due to heavy rain. Situation in flood-ravaged Assam and Bihar improves. In international news, Shinzo Abe set to become Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister as his party, along with the ruling coalition, retains majority in elections for Upper House of Parliament. British Prime Minister Theresa May to hold emergency cabinet meeting today on seizure of UK-flagged oil tanker by Iran. Britain also writes to UN Security Council protesting the Iranian action. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulate sprinter Hima Das for winning 5 gold medals in a month in international competitions. Both express hope for a glorious performance in coming years. And now for our top story. It's a historic day for India's space program as the stage is set for the launch of India's moon mission Chandrayaan-2 this afternoon. The mission will seek to make a soft landing on the south pole of the moon. India will be the 4th nation after the United States, Russia and China to make a soft landing on the moon's surface. Chandrayaan will be the first landing on the south pole of the moon. Launch is scheduled for 2:43 p.m. from the second launch pad at Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. A 20-hour countdown for the launch began at 6:43 p.m. on Sunday. This will be the second attempt to launch the mission after an earlier liftoff scheduled for the 15th of July was called off due to a technical glitch in the rocket's cryogenic stage. According to the Indian Space Research Organization, everything has been checked and launch preparations are going according to plan.
India's heaviest launch vehicle GSLV Mark III will launch the prestigious Chandrayaan-2. Chandrayaan-2 is the next leap in technology as we attempt to soft land close to South Pole of Moon. The soft landing is extremely complex and we will experience approximately 15 minutes of terror.
After the grand success of India's first successful mission to Moon, Chandrayaan-1, India's Chandrayaan-2 is all set to be launched by ISRO in July 2019 using GSLV Mark III M1 launch vehicle. This three-stage rocket is the heaviest vehicle built by ISRO and has been selected for India's prestigious moon mission due to its reliability, versatility and payload carrying capability of 4,000 kg. Weighing around 3,850 kilograms, Chandrayaan-2 has three modules: the orbiter, the lander named Vikram, and the rover named Pragyan. Once in lunar orbit, Chandrayaan will deploy Vikram, which will make precise, safe and soft landing on the moon by September 2019. On landing, the rover Pragyan will deploy to perform mobility and scientific experiments on the lunar surface. The rocket will inject Chandrayaan-2 in the 170 by more than 38,500 kilometers Earth orbit. Subsequently, following a phased maneuver of 5 Earth burns, its orbit will be raised to 1,05,292 kilometers. The spacecraft will then be nudged into the lunar transfer trajectory. From here, the Chandrayaan will take few days to arrive in proximity of the moon. The spacecraft's liquid apogee motor will be retrofitted to insert it into a lunar orbit. Gradually over a few days, the spacecraft will be brought closer to the moon in 100 by 100 kilometer circular orbit through 5 lunar burns. While the orbiter will continue in this orbit, Vikram will separate and deboost to 100 by 30 kilometers lunar orbit, where it will remain for 4 days. On the 4th day, Optical High Resolution Camera Payload OHRC onboard orbiter will be turned on to scout for a suitable landing site in the lunar South Pole region. The images taken will be transmitted to Earth and processed, after which the landing site map will be uploaded in Vikram prior to its powered descent phase. Lander will hover at 100 meters above the lunar surface and gradually begin its descent. Once Vikram lands, the rover Pragyan will deploy. The payloads of Pragyan and Vikram will then be turned on and start collecting information on lunar topography, mineralogy, elemental abundance, lunar exosphere, and signatures of hydroxyl ions and water ice. The mission life of orbiter is 1 year, and that of Vikram and Pragyan will be 1 lunar day, which approximately equals 14 Earth days. Chandrayaan-2 will attempt to answer questions on yet unexplored lunar surface and open up possibilities of using the moon as a platform for further exploration of the solar system and beyond. With this, India reiterates its prowess in space technology and its commitment to humanity.
And joining us now is our correspondent Philip Matthew from Sriharikota. Well, Philip, we're looking at it, India is looking at it as a historic day as the stage is set for the launch of moon mission Chandrayaan-2 this afternoon. ISRO's K. Shivan has referred to it as a great leap in technology. Take us through all that it means for our space mission.
Well, you have to realize that Chandrayaan 2 is a step up on the earlier mission, Chandrayaan 1, which was carried out about 11 years ago. And the essence of this mission essentially is that it is attempting to introduce a number of new technologies. Of course, you have the soft landing on the moon, which is the key operation that will be demonstrated during this mission. All of this will be very useful when it comes to ISRO's future missions. Don't forget Gaganyaan, which plans to send astronauts into space, is on the card somewhere around 2022. So all of these technologies will be deployed then as well. And for that reason, this will serve as a test bed for all these new innovative technologies that ISRO has come up with. Apart from soft landing, of course, there will be a number of tests carried out on the moon's surface to study not just the composition of the moon's atmosphere and its soil. It will also study what the seismic activity is there in that region as well. So all of these are very useful, understand, what the nature of the solar system is apart from the nature of the moon. And this will enable India to carry out more deep space missions in the future, including to places like Mars. So clearly all of this is part of a planned program that ISRO is carrying out to ensure that, its deep space missions, progress smoothly.
Right, and well, as we all know, K7 has assured that this time it will be a successful launch, and as the stage is set, what kind of atmosphere would you say is there at the ISRO station, even as the 20-hour countdown began much earlier?
Well, there's an atmosphere of quiet confidence and expectation at the ISRO Control Center. In fact, I've spoken to a few senior scientists. All of them say that they are confident that the technical glitch that was revealed during the launch countdown sequence on the 15th of this month, they are confident that glitch has been overcome, and they feel that the rehearsal that was carried out a day ago, that went off pretty smoothly, and therefore they are quite confident that the launch operations will go as planned. But of course, the only issue for ISRO is that the launch window, there is a very narrow launch window, and ISRO will have to ensure that the launch schedule goes as per plan, because any delays could well throw the entire operation completely, out of joint. And that is the only factor that ISRO will be worried about. Of course, the weather is a little cloudy here, but by and large, things going according to plan here at the launch pad in Sriharikota.
Right. Well, Philip Matthew, thank you very much for joining us there and for all those inputs. And now we have with us our guest in the studio, Biman Basu, science columnist. Very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, first of all, your thoughts on this very ambitious and very prestigious project that ISRO has launched. The nation is waiting with bated breath, even as the stage is set for the launch this afternoon.
See, this is very important for ISRO because Chandrayaan 1, which was launched in 2008, that was an orbital mission. That is, it was only meant to send a spacecraft in orbit around moon. There was no plan of landing anything. Of course, they did drop something on the moon, which is called, we just crashed on the lunar surface. But there was no soft landing. The most significant part of the present mission is that for the first time, ISRO is going to try soft landing on the moon. Because till now, only 3 countries, the United States, Russia and China, they have succeeded in soft landing on the moon. So Israel tried only a few months back and they failed.
Right.
So if this succeeds, it will be a big achievement for ISRO.
A big achievement, a very ambitious project, and a project that is filled with many challenges. What would you say are the difficulties that have been encountered so far and that could be encountered even as we all wait for the launch this afternoon?
So one problem with landing or soft landing any spacecraft on moon is the absence of atmosphere. You see, on Earth, if we want to soft land anything, we just use parachutes.
Right.
Even on Mars, they have used parachutes.
Right.
But on moon, that is not possible because there is no air.
Right.
So it has to be done entirely by using retro rockets. Retro rockets are rockets which are fitted below the lander, which fire to slow down the craft. And this has to be done very, very carefully, because if the speed is very high, it may damage the craft.
Right.
So this is the first time that ISRO is going to try this technique, because they have not done it earlier. And the difficult part of the trials and other things that they've carried out is that whatever tests have been carried out, they've been carried out on Earth.
Right.
And the Earth's gravity is 6 times that of Moon.
Right.
So what we have succeeded in doing on Earth may or may not work, and that is the question mark now.
Right.
Because another point is that after today's launch, if everything goes on fine, then still it will be about 50 days or 48 days till the time that the lander attempts to make a soft landing. So it is a long time, during which of course there will be a lot of testing done in orbit, and then lot of maneuvers to put the Chandrayaan-2 on the correct course. So all these things are big question marks till now. Although Mr. Sivan said that every test has been done and they have come out fine, but once it is launched, that is only the beginning, and whether it will ultimately reach Moon and then will be able to soft land the lander on Moon is still remain a question mark. But of course, given the track record of ISRO with Chandrayaan-1 and the Mangalyaan, that is the Mars Orbiter Probe, the important point is, in both cases, see Chandrayaan-1 and Mars Orbiter mission, ISRO succeeded in the first attempt.
Right.
No other country had this distinction.
Right.
So keeping the track record in view, we can rather assume that this success can be taken for granted.
Right, right. Another remarkable factor about our space, about Chandrayaan-2, about this particular mission, is that it's far more cost efficient than that of any other moon mission anywhere in the world.
No, this it applies to our Mars mission also.
Right.
Because the time we sent the Mars mission, United States sent the MAVEN mission, so that was about 10 times more costly than the Indian mission. So that way, you see, in the past few years, you must have seen that more and more countries, even United States, they are coming to India for launching their satellites.
Right.
And that is only because our space technology is more cost effective than many other countries.
Right.
And that is a big advantage for ISRO, because it's commercial wing Antrix. They are doing a lot of business in getting the foreign satellites launched, and also by marketing the remote sensing images. So that way ISRO is doing very well, and I think that if today's launch goes on fine, then we can expect a successful landing. It is scheduled on in the first week of September, 6th or 7th September.
Right.
Maybe that will create history again by India becoming the 4th country to successfully soft land on Moon.
And the journey began towards that 20 hours ago on Sunday itself. When we look at the impact that the program will have in terms of our space program, in terms of a mission, and what benefits we will acquire from it, what would you say they would be?
So one thing is that Chandrayaan-2 is being launched by GSLV Mark III.
Right.
That is the most powerful rocket that ISRO has today. Now the success of this rocket is also very important, because the Prime Minister has set a deadline of 2022 for sending the first Indians to space from Indian soil. And to do that, the success of GSLV Mark III will be very important, because we have to have a reliable rocket to send human beings to space. So this will also mark, if it succeeds, it will also mark a big step towards our first manned mission.
Right.
That will come sometimes in December 2021.
Right. And even as the journey begins, journey has already begun for India to become the 4th country to soft land on the Moon. When we talk about the actual process, what would you say would be happening there on the Moon as the mission is launched this afternoon?
No, basically, as I've already said, that the mission is to land the lander on moon, and
Right.
lander will also carry a rover.
Right.
So the basic idea is to land on the moon and then send out the rover to explore the moon's surface. Now, significant part is that the landing spot has been selected which is very near the pole, South Pole,
Right.
and no country has ever landed a spacecraft so near the pole, because all the moon landings that have been done till now by Russia, United States, they are all near the equator. So this will be the first time that a soft landing will be done near the pole. And we also know that the polar region has a lot of craters where the sunlight doesn't enter. So it is very cold, and there is a possibility of water ice being there.
Right.
So indications have already been found, but now this mission will further, find out whether how much water is there and what is their extent and all. So
Right.
that will be a very important, information for the world, not only for India but for the world.
And there was also a lot of talk about a launch window that ISRO has even now has to take steps in order to ensure that everything happens within that launch window. Could you explain it to us?
Now, launch window in space basically involve the alignment of Earth and the objective. That is, in this case, it's Moon. Mars may be there. Now, Moon. The thing is that when we are landing Chandrayaan-2 on Moon, there has to be enough sunlight on Moon for the lander and the rover to function, because without sunlight it cannot function. And sunlight on Moon has limited period, because one lunar day is equivalent to 14 Earth days. So if we land just at the beginning of the day, then we have 14 days for the lander and the rover to function.
Right.
If we miss that opportunity, then we have to again wait for the correct alignment when you can land, because there are three things involved: the position of the Earth, the position of the Moon, and the spacecraft. So all these three have to fit together so that the spacecraft reaches the Moon at a time when the day is just breaking, and so that they can get the full day for getting all the scientific tasks done
Right.
on surface.
Right. So, well, the stage is set for the launch of a historic mission. All eyes on 2:43 p.m. when Chandrayaan-2 will be launched this afternoon. K. Sivan of ISRO has warned that everything is going according to plan, and fingers crossed. And thank you very much, Mr. Basu, for joining us on the show and for all your inputs. And well, moving on now, the fate of the H.D. Kumarasamy-led Congress JDS coalition government in Karnataka is likely to be decided today on the floor of the assembly after it defied on July 19th the two deadlines set by Governor Vajubhai Vala to prove a majority. However, significant attention will also be on Supreme Court hearing today on its earlier order in which the Congress party had sought clarification on the validity of the whip. The assembly was adjourned till Monday after the governor's 1:30 p.m. deadline, and the second one to conclude the confidence motion process by Friday itself was ignored. As many as 15 MLAs, 12 from the Congress and 3 from the JDS had resigned, while independent MLAs R. Shankar and H. Nagesh have withdrawn their support to the coalition government. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Kumarasamy on Sunday appealed to the rebels to attend the legislature session today. However, rebel MLAs also released a new video stating they will not return to the coalition government. On the other hand, Congress Legislative Party met on Sunday evening ahead of the floor test likely to be held on Monday. Early on Friday, Kumarasamy and the Congress had moved the Supreme Court accusing the governor of interfering with the assembly proceedings when the debate on the trust vote was underway, and sought clarification on its July 17th order. In another development, JDS Congress coalition on Sunday got a boost after BSP chief Mayawati directed her party's MLA Mahesh to vote in support of Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumarasamy's government. And Aisha Khanam joins us from Bangalore. Aisha, well, the suspense continues and all eyes on the assembly today, whether as it is believed that the trust vote is more than likely. What are you hearing from your sources?
Well, it looks like it's going to be an interesting day of twists and turns in the assembly today because first of all, this entire matter is now caught in legal tangles and also it is heading to a constitutional crisis because on one hand the issue is now in Supreme Court and there are several pending claims in the Supreme Court from the Congress, from the JDS, from the independents. Even the independents are now approaching the Supreme Court, asking the Supreme Court to direct the Speaker to conduct the floor test by 5 p.m. today. And then on the other hand, the Congress has approached the Supreme Court, asking them to give them their right, to restore their right to disqualify the MLAs if they disobey the party orders. That is, they say that the Supreme Court should not infringe on their rights to disqualify if the rebels do not obey their order. So this matter is in Supreme Court, and on the other hand, Congress and JDS are trying their best to convince the rebels till the last moment. But it is very clear that the rebels have also said that they will not make any U-turn today, even if there is a change in leadership. Yesterday, they were going to offer the rebels that there could be change in leadership if Kumaraswamy gives up the Chief Minister's post and if Siddaramaiah is made Chief Minister. But the rebels have rejected this offer also. So it's a very interesting day and the BJP is watching these developments closely. The BJP has instructed its MLAs to maintain restraint on the floor of the House because they do not want to be dragged into the ruckus or chaos being created by the Congress on the floor of the House, because if that happens, the Speaker could suspend some of the members and they can be kept out if the trust vote happens, and thereby reducing the numbers. So the opposition is very careful. The BJP is playing its cards very closely and it's watching all these developments. And if and they're hoping that the trust vote will come up today by the end of the day. And when the division of vote comes, the BJP is very confident that they have numbers. They have 105, 107 on their side, and now the Congress is reduced to 98. But we have to wait and see what the BSP MLA will do, because yesterday he gave a statement stating he will abstain from the assembly.
Right,
and,
Aisha.
But Mayawati has given him instructions to attend the assembly and vote for the coalition.
Right, it's very interesting how Mayawati has directed her MLA to vote for the coalition. But even as the BJP appears sounds very confident of victory, the stakes in this battle are remarkably high for Kumaraswamy, would you say? It's a make or break situation, not only for this particular situation, but also for his entire career.
Yes, absolutely. It is a make or break situation for Kumaraswamy, because yesterday we saw that at the last moment he has released another press statement and through the press he was addressing the rebels and asking them to return to the fold and said all the problems, all the crises will be solved and they should return and save this government. See, now till now it was the JDS and Congress, they were trying to intimidate, they were trying to pressurize the rebels, but now they are appealing helplessly. So Kumaraswamy is trying to save the government, but only a miracle can save him. But even that that hope looks very dim right now, because if Kumaraswamy, as promised by Siddaramaiah, if Kumaraswamy moved the division of votes, he does not have numbers. So he is desperately hoping that there is some twist and turn in this moment. But it is also likely that since there will be discussion on this confidence motion, this could also be extended, this could also be prolonged even today till the end of the day, provided the Speaker sets some deadline to end the discussion. Remember, there are 26 speakers who want to take part in the discussion, But so far the speaker says that there is no time limit set for that, and if that happens, if all these people participate in the debate, this could prolong today also. So it will be interesting to see what new plan or strategy Kumaraswamy and Congress will unfold today when they come to the House. But as promised, they have to go for division of vote today, and the Speaker has also said that he will not extend this confidence motion beyond today. So today is the D-Day, and we will have to wait and see if the numbers are in his favor. But Yediyurappa has declared clearly that today could be the last day for Kumaraswamy government in Karnataka.
Right, Aisha, thank you very much for joining us there and for those inputs. And some Parliament news now. The National Medical Commission Bill 2019 will be introduced in the Lok Sabha today. Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Harshvardhan, said that he will introduce the bill in the lower house. The new NMC bill has been approved by the Cabinet last week. The NMC bill proposes reforms in medical education and seeks to replace Medical Council of India by NMC, which will have 4 autonomous bodies. Also, the Right to Information Amendment Bill 2019, the Motor Vehicles Amendment Bill 2019 and the Unlawful Activities Prevention Amendment Bill 2019 will be taken into consideration and passing in the lower house. And news now about the flood situation ravaging a number of states across the country. 4 people have lost their lives and 3, including 2 fishermen from Tamil Nadu, are still missing as rains continued to lash Kerala, with red alert being sounded in Kasaragod, Idukki, Kozhikode and Kannur districts till July 23rd. The Met Department has issued a red alert in Kozhikode, Wayanad and Kannur districts and predicted extremely heavy rainfall during the day today. Central and southern districts are also expected to receive heavy rains over the next 5 days and are on orange alert. The weatherman has also issued orange alert in Kottayam, Ernakulam, Thrissur and Malappuram till July 25th. Shutters of the Pamla, Peringal-Kuttu, Kalarkutti, Bhuth, Thanketu and Malankara dams in Idukki districts have been opened. Rains have caused a flood-like situation in many parts of the state. And in Assam, with the respite from the downpour in the last few days, the flood situation has improved significantly. However, major river Brahmaputra in Jorhat, Goalpara and Dhubri districts, along with the Dhansiri in Golaghat district and Kopiri in Nagaon district, are flowing above the danger mark, maintaining a receding trend at the same time. 18 of the state's 33 districts still remain submerged, affecting over 38 lakh people. Floodwaters have receded in 5 districts, but 2,669 villages and 1.35 lakh hectares of cropland and a portion of the Kaziranga National Park in Golaghat district continue to remain submerged. The death count of animals in the Kaziranga National Park stood at 141 till reports last came in. Assam Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi and State Forest Minister Parimal Suklabhaidya on Sunday visited flood relief camps in Bokakhat of Golaghat district of the state. The governor took stock of the situation and reviewed the relief and rescue operations being undertaken in the state. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Standing true to its ethos, Indian Army integrated with its medical and veterinary components along with state health and veterinary services and are currently organizing 3 medical camps and 2 veterinary camps in the flood affected areas of Lower Assam. The medical camps are being organized in Borpeta, Morgaon and Sonitpur districts, while the veterinary camps are being conducted in Dhubri and Nalbari districts. The camps are established with intent to address issues pertaining to waterborne infectious diseases and epidemic threat both to livestock and humans. The said camps are also providing mobile detachments of an effective outreach to neighboring villages which are still inundated. Due to the efforts of the Indian Army, a large number of locals are being provided medical aid and veterinary assistance to animals. In Bihar too, the flood situation is showing signs of improvement with water levels in many rivers receding. Over 72 lakh people in 12 districts were affected by the floods that have hit the state in the wake of torrential rains in the catchment areas of neighboring Nepal. Of the 12 affected districts, Sitamarhi remained the worst affected, followed by Madhubani, Araria, Shiohar and Darbhanga. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar on Sunday visited relief camps in Sitamarhi and Darbhanga. Meanwhile, relief and rescue operations are underway in the flood-affected areas. And joining us now is our correspondent Kumar Alok, who's been covering the flood damage caused by floods in Bihar for the past few days. Kumar Alok, a very good morning to you. News coming in says that the flood situation is improving. Give us your update and an update on the ground situation as you see it. Alok, if you can hear me. Well, our correspondent Kumar.
सही था कि पिछले 6-7 दिनों से बारिश ना होने की वजह से फ्लड की स्थिति में काफी सुधार हुआ था, लेकिन पिछले कुछ दिनों से खासकर नेपाल में जो बहुत ही जबरदस्त बारिश हुई है, वहां जबरदस्त बारिश. आई एम हियरिंग योर वॉइस.
राइट.
आप देख सकते हैं कि किस तरीके से यहाँ पर सामुदायिक किचन की व्यवस्था की गई है. यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पर लोगों को यहाँ पर कम से कम 800 लोग हैं, उनके लिए यहाँ खाना बन रहा है. चावल आप देख सकते हैं, यहाँ सब्जियों के लिए यहाँ पर यहाँ आप देख सकते हैं सब्जी यहाँ पर तैयार हो रहा है. और हम सीधे बात करते हैं यहाँ के जो सहायक प्रबंधक है, जो इस पूरे सिस्टम को देख रहे हैं, पूरे खान पान की जो व्यवस्था है उसको देख रहे हैं. हम उनसे बात करेंगे, बिलाल खान जी से. बिलाल खान जी, क्या व्यवस्था है आपके यहाँ?
जी, हमारे यहाँ सरकार की तरफ से सभी लोगों के लिए दोनों टाइम खाने की व्यवस्था की जा रही है. चावल, दाल, सब्जी, स्वच्छ पानी की व्यवस्था की जा रही है, टैंकर से सप्लाई की जा रही है, लाइट की व्यवस्था की जा रही है, लोगों के लिए पन्नी दी जा रही है, बक्की बारिश होने पर उनकी व्यवस्था की जाए. हमारे यहाँ बच्चों के पढ़ने के लिए स्कूल भी व्यवस्था की गई है. चाइल्ड फ्रेंडली को भी रखा गया ताकि छोटे बच्चे को भी यहाँ व्यवस्थित किया जा सके. और हमारे यहाँ चिकित्सा विभाग से भी आ रहे हैं, पशुपालन विभाग से भी डॉक्टर आ रहे हैं. किसी तरह की लोगों को समस्या ना हो, इसके लिए सरकार पूरी.
नहीं, लोगों की शिकायत है कि खाने के का जो क्वालिटी है वो बहुत गंदा है.
जी, ऐसा नहीं है. दरअसल हम लोग खिचड़ी भी खिलाते हैं, चावल, दाल, सब्जी भी खिलाते हैं. जो हमारे मेनू में है वो हम पूरी तरह से अच्छे साफ सफाई के साथ कोशिश कर सकते हो. आप सामने देख सकते हैं कि हम लोग आलू की सब्जी बनवा रहे हैं, अभी चावल दाल बन रहा है मेरा, और हम समय से सारा कुछ व्यवस्थित करा रहे हैं.
आइए हम देखते हैं कि यहाँ पर इस पूरे शिविर में हर तरह की व्यवस्था सरकार के द्वारा की गई है. यहाँ पर स्कूल भी लगाया गया जो 9 बजे से स्टार्ट होगा. आंगनबाड़ी केंद्र है और आंगनबाड़ी केंद्र में भी लोग जो आंगनबाड़ी सेविका है वो यहाँ पर उपस्थित है बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए. और ये देखिए कि बच्चे यहाँ पर पढ़ रहे हैं. मैडम आप ये बताइए कि आप यहाँ पर किस तरीके से बच्चों को पढ़ा रही हैं?
सर, बाढ़ आ गया हुआ है ना, यहाँ पर बच्चे सब इधर उधर भटक रहे हैं. सब कोई आंगनबाड़ी में तैयारी कर रहा है.
बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं?
जी, बच्चों को पढ़ा रहे हैं.
तो आप देख सकते हैं रुकमा की पूरे शिविर में सरकार ने अपनी ओर से व्यवस्था में कोई कमी नहीं छोड़ी है. किचन से लेकर के चिकित्सा व्यवस्था से लेकर के आंगनबाड़ी की सहायता से बच्चों को पढ़ाया जा रहा है. बच्चे इधर उधर न भटके, इसके लिए उनका इंतजाम यहाँ पर सरकार के द्वारा किया गया है. जी रुकमा.
Right, Kumar Alok, well, and also give us a sense, now that the flood waters are receding, it's time to take stock of what has happened, and also the road ahead would be preparedness for the aftermath of floods, for the epidemic-like situation and epidemic-like diseases that usually come upon people after a flood of this kind. So how is the government prepared for such a situation?
देखिए एक तो पूरे राज्य में जो डॉक्टर्स लोग का जो लीव है उसको रद्द कर दिया गया है और सारे जो कैंप बनाए गए हैं, जहां जहां राहत शिविर है वहां कैंप बनाए गए हैं और वहां डॉक्टर की टीम है, रेड क्रॉस की टीम है, मेडिकल जो फैसिलिटीज जितनी भी होने चाहिए, जो प्राथमिक उपचार हो सकता है, जैसे कि कै हो, दस्त हो, उल्टी हो, बुखार हो, चाहे कि कोई अगर कीड़े अगर काट लेते हैं तो उस सब का इलाज यहाँ पर है, शिविरों में है। लेकिन जब सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि जब ये लोग अपने घरों को जाएंगे तो वहां पर जब गांव में अपने पहुंचेंगे बाढ़ के बाद, तो वो उस स्थिति से निपटने के लिए सरकार ने क्या तैयारी की है, ये देखने वाला विषय होगा।
Right, Kumar Alok, thank you very much for joining us there. We'll have to leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for joining us with those inputs. And moving on, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Sunday visited Sonbhadra and met family members of the victims of the shooting incident, which had claimed 10 lives on the 17th of this month. After meeting the family members of the victims in Umma village of Ghorawal Tehsil, the Chief Minister also visited District Hospital Sonbhadra to meet injured villagers. 29 persons have been arrested in this case so far, including the prime suspect. The Chief Minister assured the villagers of safety and security and asked them to contact district administration and local political representatives if any need arises. He said the government has ordered suspension of the police personnel responsible, and he also announced the enhanced ex gratia of 18.5 lakh rupees to the bereaved families. In international news, UK Prime Minister Theresa May will hold a meeting of Britain's Emergencies Committee today to discuss the seizure of the Swedish-owned Stena Impero. Earlier on Sunday, British Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt spoke to his French and German counterparts over Iran's seizure of UK-flagged oil tanker. Later in a statement, the Foreign Secretary's office said that both ministers agreed with the Foreign Secretary that safe passage for vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is a top priority for European nations, while avoiding any possible escalation. In another development, an Iranian flag was hoisted atop the seized oil tanker docked in Iran's Bandar Abbas port on Sunday. The British-flagged Stena Impero was seized by Iranian Revolutionary Guards in the Strait of Hormuz on Friday in apparent retaliation for the British capture of an Iranian tanker 2 weeks earlier. A top British representative to the United Nations has declared in a letter to the Security Council that Iran's seizure of a British-flagged tanker amounted to illegal interference, and he rejected Tehran's version of events. Iran said the tanker had turned off its transponder after hitting an Iranian fishing boat and was detained after failing to respond to distress calls. But in a letter dated Saturday, British Charge d'Affaires Jonathan Allen rejected each of the Iranian claims. He called on Iran to release the tanker while diplomatic efforts to resolve the situation continue. Our priority, he said, is to de-escalate. In Japan, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's ruling coalition secured a majority in the country's upper house of parliament in elections, according to vote counts by public television and other media. Media reports say that Abe's Liberal Democratic Party and his junior partner Komeito had won 64 seats in the upper house after 2 hours of vote counting. The 2/3 majority needed for constitutional revision could be within reach of the ruling bloc if the ruling bloc can gain support from members of another conservative party and independents. Up for grabs were 124 seats in the less powerful of Japan's 2 parliamentary chambers. There are 245 seats in the upper house which does not choose the Prime Minister, about half of which are elected every 3 years. The results appeared to match or even exceed pre-election polls that indicated Abe's ruling bloc was to keep ground in the upper house. And time now for Finance World, the top news stories from the world of business and finance. My colleague Achal Gulati joins us with all the latest.
Well, thank you very much, Rukma. And today's first trading day session, that's Monday, we'll have a look at all those news items which are making headlines in the world of business. First of all, we're going to talk about the scheme Udan. Age routes and a regional connectivity scheme Udan have become functional since Friday, taking the total number of operational routes to 194, according to Civil Aviation Ministry. The ministry had launched the Udan Ure Desh Ka Aam Nagrik scheme on October 21st, 2016 to stimulate regional air connectivity and make air travel affordable to the masses. With this, the total Udan routes that are operational as on date have increased to 194. These routes include Mysore-Hyderabad, Hyderabad-Mysore, Goa-Mysore, Mysore-Goa, Cochin, Mysore Cochin, Kolkata Shillong and Shillong Kolkata. A total of 705 routes have been awarded under the Udan scheme up till now by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. As part of innovative modes of financing to meet India's huge infrastructure appetite, insurance giant LIC has agreed to offer Rs 1.25 trillion line of credit by 2024 to fund highway projects. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari said, keen on timely execution of the Rs 8.41 trillion ambitious Bharatmala project that aims to lay a grid of highways pan-India. The Road Transport and Highways Ministry has been looking to harness various sources of finances, including pension and insurance funds. Gadkari said the Bharatmala program will be funded through cess, toll revenue, market borrowings, private sector participation, insurance funds, pension funds, masala bonds and other initiatives, and the LIC credit line was one such good initiative. Also, the budget allocation for Road Transport and Highway Ministry has increased about Rs 5,000 crore. And that's all we have in this edition of Finance World. Back to Rupma for more news updates.
Well, thank you very much, Achal, for that update. And it's time now to move on to some sports news. Sprinter Hima Das's sensational performance in Europe, where she bagged 5 gold medals within a month, earned praise from President Ramnath Kovind as well as Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday. Congratulating Hima for her incredible success, the President in a tweet said, 3 weeks, 5 gold medals. You're incredible, Hima Das. Keep sprinting, keep shining, and may this success set the pace for glory at the 2020 Olympic Games. Prime Minister Modi also congratulated Hima Das on her achievements. In a tweet, he said, India is very proud of Hima Das's phenomenal achievements over the last few days. Everyone is absolutely delighted that she has brought home 5 medals in various tournaments. Congratulations to her and best wishes for her future endeavors. And today is the first Monday of the Shravan month of the Hindu calendar. Mondays of this month are considered auspicious. Devotees often fast on every Monday during the month of Shravan. All Mondays are devoted to the worship of Lord Shiva. Devotees across the country are visiting Shiva temples to offer prayers. And time now for the weather report. Well, that's all in this edition of the Breakfast Show. But before we go, we'll leave you with glimpses of colourful Rangoli for Chandrayaan 2's launch made by locals in Surat in Gujarat ahead of the launch today afternoon. Take a look and enjoy. Namaskar.